CFA level 1, CFA level 2, CFA level 3, and CAI level 1 Edge study program for the 2022 exam cycle. Remember, of course, guys, this standards of professional conduct, which we're carrying on with now, applies to all of those 4 programs: CFA level 1, level 2, level 3, and of course to CAI level 1 as well. We're carrying on over here, guys. We've done the first 4 standards of professional conduct. We're moving on swiftly here. We move to the 5th standard, which is investment analysis, recommendations, and actions. We talk about the very first one, which is standard 5A, diligence and reasonable basis. There's 2 specific points over here. Now, what are the 2 specific points coming out of 5A, diligence and reasonable basis? Members and candidates must, number 1, exercise diligence, independence, and thoroughness in analyzing investments, making investment recommendations, and taking investment actions. Again, you can see those words again, all of the investment process. Number 2, have a reasonable and adequate basis supported by appropriate research and investigation for any investment analysis, recommendation, or action. Let's talk about some of the guidance. Defining what is diligence and reasonable basis. What does that even mean? Okay, let's go through the guidance. Members are required to put in the necessary effort to support the recommendations that they are making. Okay, what are some of the things that you should consider? It's not an exhaustive list, but things like global, regional, country, macro conditions, operating financial history of a company, the industry and sector conditions, the stage of the business cycle, a mutual fund's fee structure and management history, output and potential limitations, assets included in the securitization, and perhaps peer group comparisons. Having now said, guys, that we need to act with diligence and do proper work, are we allowed to use secondary or third-party research? Of course you may, but of course you need to ensure that the research is sound. And how do you determine that? What are some of the things you must consider? Consider what assumptions have been used, the rigor of the analysis being performed, the date and timeliness of the research, and of course the objectivity and independence of the various recommendations. Okay, using quantitatively oriented research, a bit of a reference over here, guys, to black box type of technology. For example, if you don't really understand what's going on in the heart of the data, the program, would one be allowed to use that as part of your process? Okay, and we say you don't have to become an expert, a tech expert or a fintech expert or whatever it happens to be. Okay, but you do need to have an understanding, of the parameters that are used in the models, as well as in the quantitative research, as well as understanding assumptions and limitations of the model as well. Okay, top of page 55, developing quantitatively oriented techniques. Okay, again, same story over here, guys. Okay, you need to understand what is going on behind the process as best as you can. What about external advisors and sub-advisors? Okay, again, you should review the following relating to these advisors. Okay, look at their code of ethics, understand an advisor's compliance and internal control procedures. Okay, assess the quality of the published return information. Okay, review the advisor's investment process. Okay, review the advisor's adherence to their stated strategy. Group research and decision making. Okay, when a member makes recommendations as part of a group report, they represent the consensus of the group. So let's say, for example, 5 analysts get together and they do an investment report. 4 say it's a sell, and 1 of the 5 say it's a buy. So of course the 1 bows to the majority, of course, on the basis, of course, that the majority have done proper research, etc., diligence and reasonable basis. And he says, okay, well, listen, I'm part of the group. The majority of the group says sell, so I go along with it. And of course, that would be fine. Mr. or Miss 1 is not in violation because they represent the group. And they've got to go ahead with the consensus of the group. Okay. Recommended procedures for compliance. We have a look over here. A policy must be established regarding research reports, credit ratings, and investment recommendations. Okay. Just to make sure that they are substantiated as reasonable and adequate. Develop policy that guides people as to whether a recommendation has a reasonable and adequate basis. You start to teach your people, yes, this is reasonable, no, that's not reasonable. Develop measurable criteria for assessing the quality of research, the reasonableness of the recommendation, and the accuracy of recommendations. Develop policies that determine the levels of scenario testing for all computer-based models. Develop measurable criteria for assessing outside providers and adopt a standardized set of criteria for evaluating the adequacy of external advisors. We look over here, guys, top of page 56, application of standard 5A, diligence and reasonable basis. Let's have a look over here. Okay. And let's go for number 3, perhaps. Sajna works as an independent research company, for an independent research company. Her deadline to submit a report is only 2 days away. She drafts a report based on newspaper articles and based on the current market thinking on this particular stock, and she gets the report done on time. Clearly, Sajna has violated standard 5A, diligence and reasonable basis. Why? She didn't do enough research to back up her view. She really just looked at newspaper articles and considered current market thinking on this topic, which is not a reasonable and adequate basis for making a recommendation. Okay. Some more questions over here, guys, for you on the application. You see over here, away we go. Okay, remember, guys, again, just for information purposes, I've taken all of these cases over here that we put in the application section directly from the CFA textbook. Okay, on standards of professional conduct. But what, of course, I've done, I've changed all names and material details to make sure we don't plagiarize. But we've just really culled that. If you have a look at any one of these, each one of these in and of themselves would be probably about a full page. So we've culled them down to a small, manageable size to make sure that you actually do go through them, please. Okay, and there we go. There's a whole couple for you there. On to page 59, guys. Okay, standard 5B, investment analysis, recommendations and actions. Okay, communication with clients and prospective clients. This is a very important one. Look at the 4 over here. Members and candidates must disclose to clients and prospective clients the basic format and principles of the investment processes that they use to analyze investments, select securities, construct portfolios, and must promptly disclose any changes that might materially affect these processes. So if, for example, they manage assets in a certain way and all of a sudden they decide, no, they don't want to manage them in this way any longer, they want to have a bit of a change, they're allowed to do that, okay, but of course, okay, they need to disclose that to their clients, okay, promptly, so the clients then can decide whether or not they would like to still be part of this process. Okay. Number 2, disclose to clients and prospective clients significant limitations and risks associated with the investment process, particularly to those types of clients that are not sophisticated, okay, not sophisticated, okay, within an investment approach. Okay. Number 3, use reasonable judgment in identifying which factors are important to the investment analysis, recommendations, or actions, and include those in communications with clients and prospective clients. In other words, what is important for the process. And number 4, distinguish between fact and opinion in the presentation of investment analysis and recommendations. So tell the clients, this is my opinion. These are facts, these are my opinions. Okay, down we go. Guidance, informing clients of the investment process. Okay. Members must adequately describe the manner in which they conduct the investment decision-making process to both clients and prospective clients. Okay, and of course, guys, both positive and negative factors of the decision should be disclosed. Clients must be kept informed on an ongoing basis about changes to the investment process. Members should inform the clients about any services that are not provided directly by them but by an external advisor. Different forms of communication. It can be electronically, it could be in person, it could be anything like that. Members must be mindful, okay, of the many pitfalls that social media present. Okay. Identifying risks and limitations. Members must detail the significant risks and limitations on the analysis, okay, contained in the investment products and recommendations. Okay. A key risk, of course, guys, to mention to people would be that if you are using extensive amounts of leverage, as well as things like complex financial instruments. Report presentation. Okay. Elements that are important to the analysis and conclusions of the report must be included in the final report to clients. Okay. Any changes in methodology should be highlighted. Distinguish between facts and opinions in reports. Okay. When reporting, it's very important to differentiate between opinion and fact. Okay. Away we go. Over the page over here, guys, top of page 60. Okay. The major assumptions used in investment models should also be discussed with a client. Recommended procedures for compliance. Policy should be in place for the reviewing research, okay, that is created for publication and dissemination to clients. And members should maintain records of the nature of the research. Over the page over here, guys, top of page 61, let us have a quick look over here. Okay. At a question in terms of the application. Okay, number 6. Tamara has up until now used a simple PE or price earnings model to invest funds for her clients. She has now decided to change models to a dividend discount model. She does significant testing on the new model and is happy that it will generate excellent returns for her clients. Okay. The fact that she did not inform her clients of the change means she has violated standard 5B, communication with clients and prospective clients. Okay. The change is a significant change. Her clients will want to know and need to know that they can make the appropriate decisions for their portfolios. They can say, okay, listen, I was always happy when you used a price earnings model. I'm not happy anymore now that you're using a dividend discount model approach, and I'd like to move my money somewhere else. And of course, we have to give the clients that particular option. Okay. Some more questions for you over there, guys. As you can see, down we go. Some more and some more and some more. The very last standard in terms of standard 5, guys, over here in terms of investment analysis, recommendations and actions is standard 5C, record retention. Members and candidates must develop and maintain appropriate records to support their investment analysis, recommendations, actions, and any other related investment-related communications with clients and prospective clients. Okay. In terms of the guidance, members must retain records that substantiate the scope of their research and the reasons for their opinions, actions, or conclusions. Examples of supporting documentation include personal meetings, I probably should say notes, press releases or presentations issued, computer-based model outputs and analysis, computer-based models input parameters, okay, risk analyses, selection criteria for external advisors, and outside research reports. New media records, okay, records may also be in the form of non-print media, emails, text messages, things like that. Remember, of course, guys, we saw this before, records are the property of the firm, property of the employer. Local requirements, okay, of course, just keep to whatever local requirements need to be kept to in order to adhere to the standard of record retention. Recommended procedures for compliance. The responsibility to maintain records falls within the firm, more so, of course, than on the individual. Okay. Over the page, and this is obviously a very little one in terms of application of standard 5C record retention. Let's have a look. Pick number 2. Scarlett is a research analyst in the medical sector. She does not keep her research reports and findings. Of course, Scarlett would be in violation of standard 5C record retention because she's not keeping records. And of course, she must keep records of all information that goes into her reports, as well as secondary research as well. Over the page, guys, over here, top of page 66, we are moving swiftly along, And now we move into Standard 6, conflicts of interest. Standard 6A, disclosure of conflicts. Members and candidates must make full and fair disclosure of all matters that could reasonably be expected to impair their independence and objectivity. And guys, of course, go back to Standard 1B to have a look over there, or interfere with respective duties to their clients, prospective clients, and employer. Okay, also refer to duties to employers. Members and candidates must ensure that such disclosures are prominent, okay, and delivered in plain language and communicate the relevant information effectively. You can't put a little footnote somewhere where nobody can see it on the bottom of page 463 that says, I own a 65% share in this business. No, no, no. You've got to be a little bit more prominent than that. Let's look at the guidance. Okay. Disclosure of conflicts to employers. Any conflicts of interest to employees must be disclosed to the employer. Okay, and the employer must be given sufficient information to be able to assess the impact of the conflict. Disclosure to clients. Members must disclose any conflicts of interest to clients as well. Members who beneficially own securities, okay, either directly or indirectly, okay, or have the power to vote or anything like that, must disclose those as well. Other things that need disclosure to clients, fee arrangements, sub-advisory agreements, things like that. Okay. We move on to point number 3, to cross-departmental disclosures. Okay. Number 4, conflicts with stock ownership. When a member owns stock in companies that they recommend to clients, of course, that may represent a client that needs disclosure. And conflicts as the director. Okay. We've got 3 basic conflicts. Conflicts between the duties owed to clients and the duties owed to shareholders. Okay. Members, number 2, who serve as directors may receive securities or options for serving on the board as directors. And number 3, serving on the board creates an opportunity to receive material non-public information. Needs to be watched for quite carefully. Top of page 67, we've got recommended procedures for compliance. All special compensation arrangements that might conflict with client interests must be disclosed. Okay, application of the standard. Let's just pick 1 or 2 over here. Okay, let's go down. Let's try and pick let's do number 5. Alexandra's firm invests in long-term secure assets for their client base. In an attempt to motivate their staff, they offer rewards for excellent quarterly performance. Based on this incentive, Alexandra starts to invest in high-growth stocks in order to boost the performance of her clients. Okay, this of course is a violation of Standard 6A. Why? Okay, because of this new compensation structure, she's more likely, yes, to be looking at high risk stocks for her clients. This needs to be disclosed to her clients, this new compensation structure. Okay, because it has the potential to threaten the independence and objectivity of the managing of the investment. Here's some more questions for you over there, over the page, guys. Okay, turn. As you can see, it's quite an important one. Lots and lots of questions for you over there. Over the page, top of page 70, Standard 6B. Okay, conflicts of interest, priority of transactions. Who comes first? Investment transactions for clients and employers must have priority over investment transactions in which a member or candidate is the beneficial owner. And as you can see, guys, we have seen this one before, and it's priority of transactions. In other words, where we fit into the picture. And the answer to that, of course, guys, is last. Okay. That we can see quite clearly. We fall behind that of the employer, and we fall behind that of clients and prospective clients. Let's have a look at the guidance over here. Avoiding potential conflicts. Members are permitted to trade. In other words, the big question is asked is, are you never ever allowed to trade in your own personal capacity again? And of course, the answer to that is no, you are allowed to trade, okay, as long as the trade doesn't disadvantage the client. You don't personally benefit from trades undertaken for clients, and of course, you comply with all forms of regulation. Personal trading, secondary to trading for clients. Okay, we see the order over here, guys. Client first, employer next, and then you are last. Okay, Standards for non-public information. Members may not convey any non-public information to people whose relationship to the member makes the member a beneficial owner of that security. Okay, what about trading for your family members? Family accounts that are client accounts are treated like any other client account, no different at all. Not just because they're a family member does not get them treated anything differently. Okay. Some recommended procedures for compliance: limited participation in equity IPOs for members. Review procedures should be established to ensure that any conflicted IPOs are identified and dealt with by, of course, who? Supervisors. Restrictions on private placements. Blackout or restricted periods where we can't trade to avoid things like front running. Reporting requirements should be put into place, things like disclosure of holdings, okay, in which the employee has a beneficial interest, providing duplicate confirmations of transactions and pre-clearance procedures. Okay, top of page 71, we see over here some applications of this particular standards. Okay, let's just do the first one here. Zoe wishes to purchase a stock ahead of her employer. She does so because she does not want to wait to get all the necessary approvals. Of course, she has violated standard 6B, priority of transactions, okay, because she purchased stock for herself first before allowing the employer to benefit from the information. Fairly gentle and easy. And there are some more, guys, questions for you. The very last one in terms of standard 6 conflicts of interest is referral fees. What are referral fees? Members and candidates must disclose to their employer, clients, and prospective clients as appropriate any compensation, consideration, or benefit received or paid to others for the recommendation of products or services. Let's have a look at some guidance over here. Members are required to inform their employer, clients, and prospective clients any benefit received for referrals of clients and customers. Why do we need such a strong level of disclosure to everybody? To who? Employer, clients, prospective clients. Why? Because then they can see, they'll be able to determine any partiality shown for the recommendation of services, and they can also then see the full cost of the services. Okay. Members must disclose when they pay a fee or provide compensation to others who have referred prospective clients to them. So it works both ways, of course. Recommended procedures for compliance. Procedures should be in place that are related to referral fees. Okay. The firm may decide to completely restrict referral fees. That's, of course, at the discretion of the firm. If they don't restrict, okay, then they need to take appropriate steps for requesting approval, okay, to be set out. Okay. And of course, guys, the amount and nature of compensation received should be reported on a quarterly basis or whatever period they so decide. We look over here, application of the standard. Okay. Let's have a quick look at a question over here. Leron receives a commission for every client that he refers to investment managers. Leron does not disclose his fee agreement to his clients, but of course Leron has violated referral fees, because remember, he's got to disclose this to who? To everybody, even to the clients as well. So, and why did we say even disclosure to clients is required? That they can fully evaluate Leron's recommendation of the particular firm, in our case called investment managers. Okay, some more questions for you there. Over our page, guys, the very last standard, standard 7, guys, just a word over here, guys. Okay, if you are doing Kaya, okay, this is of course where you would jump off the ship, okay, because you don't have to do standard 7, of course, because you can see what standard 7 says. Responsibilities as a CFA Institute member or candidate. So this is obviously only for the CFA level 1, 2s, and 3s. We carry on. Standard 7A, conduct as participants in CFA Institute programs. Members and candidates must not engage in any conduct that compromises the reputation or integrity of CFA Institute or the CFA designation, or the integrity, validity, or security of CFA Institute programs. What does the guidance say, guys? While participating in or involved in any CFA Institute program, members are expected to uphold certain conduct. What would be, guys, what would be considered to be unacceptable conduct? Okay, I hope we don't have to teach this to people. Cheating on any CFA Institute exams. Okay. Violating the rules, regulations, and testing policies of the CFA Institute. Providing confidential program or exam information. Guys, remember, when you finish the exam, you are not allowed to say what you saw in that exam at all. Okay. Attempting to circumvent security procedures during the exam. Misrepresenting information on your PCS, your professional conduct statement, lying on that, or misrepresenting information on the CFA Institute continuing education program. Any confidential material gained during the exam process may not be disclosed. What does that include? You come out of the exam, what are you not allowed to say? You can't say anything specific about the questions on the exam, as well as broad topical and formulas tested or not tested. So you can't even come out and say, oh, I can't believe it, I studied Bayes' theorem so hard and Bayes wasn't even there. I can't believe they never asked Bayes. Okay, you're not allowed to say that. Okay, members are allowed to disagree with the CFA Institute, believe it or not, guys, you are allowed to. You have a view, okay, on its policies and procedures. Okay, when expressing a personal opinion, content-specific information must not be disclosed. Just be careful that you don't disclose anything. Okay, let's have a look over here. Okay, let's go number 3. Add some application. At the conclusion of the afternoon exam session, the proctor is the invigilator, announces that all candidates must stop writing now. Okay. Of course, now that's less applicable because now they'll have to say, let's stop typing now, because the entire CFA process, and CAIA as well for that matter, is all, FRM as well, by the way, is all computer-based testing. Rigoberto continues to fill in the ovals on his answer sheet. In this case, of course, we would have to just change the question, say Rigoberto continues to type on his keyboard. Of course, this is a violation, okay? He's gained an unfair advantage over the other candidates, okay? And of course, guys, what has he done more importantly? Okay, he's undermined the integrity and validity of the exam as an accurate measure of the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed to earn a CFA designation. Okay, his conduct is a direct violation of the rules and regulations of the CFA program and the candidate pledge. Okay, good. Okay. Some more questions for you there, some more questions. And we come to the very last one, guys. I'm sure you are relieved as we come to the conclusion of ethics, standards of professional conduct. This is standard 7B. Reference to the CFA Institute, the CFA designation, and the CFA program. When referring to the CFA Institute membership, and the CFA designation or candidacy in the program, members and candidates must not misrepresent or exaggerate the meaning or implications of membership in the CFA Institute, holding the designation or candidacy in the CFA program. What's the guidance over here? The term CFA Institute member, okay, refers to a regular and affiliate members of the CFA Institute who have met the membership requirements as defined by the CFA Institute bylaws. Once accepted, okay, the member must satisfy. So once you have done everything that you have to become a CFA charter holder or member, you still have what you need to do on an annual basis. Okay, complete your professional conduct statement and pay your membership fees. If you fail to meet any of the above requirements, the member is no longer considered an active member and must not present themselves to others as active members. Just watch for that, guys. Using the designation must not be used in a manner that misrepresents or exaggerates the meaning or implications of the designation. Okay. How do you refer to candidacy in the program? Okay. Candidates in the CFA program may state that they are a participant in the CFA program, but they're never allowed to imply that they have achieved a partial designation. There's no such a thing as I'm partially designated. You're a CFA charter holder or you're not. Okay, so you can say I'm a member, I'm a participant, I'm a CFA level 2 participant in the CFA program. When are you a candidate, by the way? okay, when your application to the program has been accepted by the CFA Institute, okay, or you have sat for a specified exam but not yet received the results. Once that's happened, let's say for example you have now received your results, okay, and you've decided not to take the process further anymore, you've passed CFA level 1, but you think, okay, well, I've had enough of that, okay, well then you're no longer neither a member nor a candidate. You can't be a candidate in the program forever just because you once wrote the CFA level 1 exam. Okay, good. A candidate may state that they passed each level of the CFA exams in consecutive years, and that's not a violation of standard 7B. It's a fact. I passed them. But what you can't say is that come to me as an investment advisor because my services are fantastic and better than everybody else's because I passed my CFA levels in consecutive years, first time, every time. Okay. Over the page, guys, top page 77, proper usage of the CFA marks. Once a member has obtained the charter holders are given the right to use the CFA marks. CFA, look at those over there. Okay, it must all, and this is they like this. Okay, the CFA and marks and CFA marks must always be used either after the charter holder's name or as an adjective. Okay, not as a noun. Okay, you can't say I'm a CFA. Okay, I'm a chartered financial analyst. Okay, good. You put it behind your name. Okay, it's an adjective. It describes. Okay. Recommended procedures for compliance. Information about this standard and the accompanying guidance should be delivered to members' legal, compliance, public relations, and marketing departments. Okay. Application of the standard. Let's have a look at one over here. Charmaine writes on her LinkedIn page, I passed all 3 levels of CFA on my first attempt. She links this fact of passing first time to superior investment performance. Of course, that would be a violation, the fact that she linked it to being a superior investment analyst or performance. Okay, but however, factually, she's allowed to state that she passed all CFA levels on her first attempt. That would be completely fine. Just you can't link it in any way to superior investment performance. And guys, that then brings us to the end over here, guys. You look on top of page 79. I've put a bit of a summary together for you over there. There's all the standards in a nice short version, as short as we can make it, guys. Okay, do take a look at those if that helps you just to try and remember them well and good. That is your summary. And then, guys, that brings us then, of course, guys, to a conclusion of this rather lengthy, okay, reading. Okay, and as I said again, guys, if you're doing it for CFA level 1, it's reading 58. If you're doing it for CFA level 2, it's exactly the same reading, but it's reading 46. And if you're doing it for CFA level 3, exactly the same reading again, but it's reading 32. And if you're doing it for Kaya, it is topic 1, but all, guys, exactly the same material to go through. Okay, the trick now, guys, now that we've done with ethics, we've finished ethics, is practice, practice, practice. That will be your key to success in this particular section.